And remember, that was ghetto. Of course, both of us were ghetto. Chameleon was ghetto, Bobby and I were ghetto. I know most people will not believe that Bebe has been ghetto. But I can guarantee you, between Bobi Wine and Bebe Cool and Chameleon, I come from the darkest ghetto. Because I grew up with my mom in Kanyanya. You don't want to know what that place looked like. So for me to have driven myself to look like a kid from my father's home with a silver spoon in the mouth, credit to me, man. Because that's what everyone works for. No one wants to say looking like, you know. And that's why today when I look at Bobby's family, I look at Chameleon's family, yes, that's the picture that they should push. That you can come from the ghetto and be on top. And that's where credit must be given to our country and the government of Museveni. Because the three families come from the darkest part of ghetto. And when I see these kids of Bobi Wine, recently when I saw Bobi Wine as kid, he bought a Mercedes of about $100,000. I'm like, yes, fine. That's the gospel you must preach. Because you're a product of a good country. Product of a country with a plan. So anyway, Bobby came crying, and then I told him, come join my song. He joined. We came up with lyrics to attack Chameleon. So when the song came out, funtula tutiabule, tiabula fufu, funtula tia. Bobi Wine is kuyomba, obona bali busungu. I allowed him to even take the first verse because I wanted him to express himself. Now, the song came out, and it was an advantage to Chameleon because he's a good reader. He only read and released another song the next other week called Ekolera Mali Abogera. And then I'm like, no. This guy has responded positively. Joseph has been a good brain in this industry. But I think I was only smarter. Only my smartness was always underestimated. But it's okay, because the underestimating is also a positive. Because then you don't have to open all your cards. It's okay. Allow people to always underlook you so that you have peace to do whatever you do without people paying a lot of attention. Then the end result is the question. But Joseph has always been smart. So when we did the Fundula, he brought the Ne Bobi Wine, and then that's how those songs started to come. Then I noticed that, hey, excuse me, there's a way people respond to this one guy vis-a-vis how they respond to the two of us. Because then that's how we now made Firebase. That's how I created Firebase, brought in all those other guys. I'll give you the records, and we have another day to talk about the Firebase. So, Firebase, a word to ban who? Chameleon. Chameleon responds, Nekolera Mali. And then the other song started, Dorotia. Because in again, that same song, I attacked him going with his wife, Dorotia. So that's when they are, Dorotia Mwagara, he's affirming. So when I attacked him for the woman, then he just did a song to affirm his relationship. And that's what people loved. Now, that was competition, but why am I talking about that time? Was because that's the time I learned that 2 against 1 is an unfair ground. Because I saw the whole of the audience in Uganda starting to favor one individual over the 2. So I applied that one also against Radio and Weasel, but of course I didn't apply it so much. I applied it knowingly that somehow, of course, I will, you know. So you can never be 2 people and you fight one person and you win. Somehow the person will get public sympathy. So that's the first time when I understood how dangerous public sympathy was. Though it is dangerous, but it's applicable. Only you apply it to a certain extent. So Jose Chameleon was the first birth of what they call public sympathy. Because 2 very rugged guys, we were so, with dreadlocks up and down, we are driving so roughly, we were doing a lot of things at that time as Firebase. Of course we had funds, and we had the ghetto nearly just behind us. So The guy picked what they call the real public sympathy. And then he was a good artist. So you don't want public sympathy behind a good artist. Remember, he was doing Swahili. That was the first biggest Swahili song after Swahili Nation. The Mamma Mia became, basically Mamma Mia just broke. So on top, Uganda Airlines. And trust me, whichever trip I will take from Uganda that has the schedule or has Uganda Airlines as one of their routes, I will always take the Uganda Airlines. First of all, I'm Ugandan. Second of all, I'm patriotic. I love my country. Third of all, it's Ugandans who are demanding and saying, those days, during the days of Idi Amin Dada, we had Uganda Airlines, blah, blah, blah. But now when Museveni came in, we no longer have our own. We use Kenya Airways, we use South Africa. Now the government brought back the Uganda Airlines. So it is very important that we stop being foolish. We demanded for Uganda Airlines and it's back, so we must use it. It's mandate. So the question is our government or are the people who work in our government, are they taking this mandate serious that they should not fly any other airline? So my first message today is for government to make sure that they restrict every person who works in government to start flying, whether personal or whether business or whatever they do, as long as they're employees of Uganda or government or in any sector of the government, paid by the government of Uganda, they should by mandate start flying Uganda Airlines. Now the question is, how many routes? The answer is, as soon as that becomes mandate, then that means the routes will have to be provided by Uganda Airlines, and definitely that means Uganda Airlines will have to buy more crafts because Ugandans are ready or they are mandated to fly in their own airline. Now, why am I talking about Uganda Airlines? Yes, definitely it's very important. I love the service. I love the aircraft are still new. And then the small jet that we use is called the CJ something. It's very fast. So those days we used to use about 6.5 to 7 hours to 6 hours kind of to get to Joburg. That is from Entebbe. But now we're using about 5 hours. 5 hours and a few minutes. So in this space that we have, that jet is so fast, cuts time, and everyone who has taken that CJ Bushington, call him, that CJ flight, it cuts time. So that's an advantage to your flight. So of course the other bigger flights or the other bigger jets or airplanes are good. They're brand new and we need to support our own economy. Every time we spend money, give it to other people, we lose as Ugandans.